Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Welcome. It is Saturday, and we are going to talk about Raising Kanan. Real excited to get into this episode. A whole lot happened and a whole bunch of nothing at the same timing, and I can't wait to bring the guests out and get to hear what they have to say. Before we get into that, make sure that you are showing us love on all three of our platforms, hitting the like button, sharing this video, and letting us know your thoughts in the chat. We would love to get to know it. Bringing them out first because the man's is here. Rudy P. Magic is in the house. Are you ready to get into Raising Kanan?
I'm ready. Hell of an episode, but I'm ready.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Shout out to the 50 people already here. Really, really happy to have you. Last but not least, my girl with the sweetest of the sweetest perspective, because this cupcake sweet. I wonder how sweet she's gonna be for this episode. Ashley, are you ready to get into Raising Kanan?
Absolutely. Always ready to dive into this gem, ready to talk about episode 5 and the fate of Famous, y'all. I didn't see the body though, so I don't know if the streets got his body. I'm still holding out hope. Hot take.
Oh, you and me silly. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Because what we're not doing is that. Thank you guys so much.
Nah, it's a wrap.
Let me get these super chats. Because Ashley coming in here, she gonna find a way to be on fire. Thank you so much, DeMarcus Bond, for the super sticker. Most definitely appreciate it. And we have another one down here once again from DeMarcus. Thank you so much. Appreciate the super sticker. Like Ashley, you threw me all the way off. Like what? Where you dig that up from?
Girl, I made it up in my sleep last night. I said, listen, because we didn't get to identify the body. I saw her crying, but how do we know that he was not dismembered or disfigured? How do we know he just didn't give Famous? You know what I'm saying? Like, did we run dental records? Did we run the prints? Like, I would have liked to see that part. But, I'm being obstinate. But, you never know.
Overall thoughts of the episode.
We spent a lot of time with him. And we still don't know how he met his end. And I really wish if we're going to do these flashbacks and give us all of this childhood abuse and all of that, it would have led up to exactly what happened to him. In this episode. Overall, though, it was fine. We're moving somewhat ahead. I'm really ready for Rock Mama to be out of here, though. I'm really ready for that. If we could get there, I'd be even more elated. Again, it's the status quo for me right now, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for episode 6.
I will say I don't have many thoughts on this episode. Just that I'm happy that we finally have firm confirmation of what I thought all along, that our boy is gone, unfortunately. And my major thought is, was the send off in the best way that it could have been possible under the circumstances. It just, it felt really weird, but I am happy to know that he's gone, even though I don't want him to be in this way. Rudy P. Magic, what were your overall thoughts of this episode?
You know what? I thought that this episode ran like in the tradition of like the mid-season finale episodes in all of Power history. So typically, episode 5, I know episode 8, 9 in particular, like those 3 episodes. Now, of course, the finale, but those 3 episodes leading up to the big one are always like major game changers. It's always something big that takes place. So I thought it ran in that tradition and it did a successful job of, given what they have. I think that Famous, I think that they had to change the story to some degree for the sake of the actor, which we haven't really heard much from him. If you look at his IG, it hasn't really been updated. No news. Typically when a character dies, or even if it's like how when we thought he did, he came out, he made a statement. Later on, he gave ideas about what his character will be, going forward. So the fact that Antonio Ortiz, who's the actor who portrays Famous, hasn't done any of that, I thought that, okay, well, maybe they made this change because Famous being an integral character the way he is, there's no reason for him to have like an off-screen death. So essentially, we got an off-screen death for a major character like that. It's like, well, something has to be going on behind the scenes. Yeah. But I think given what they had to work with, I thought it was successful and acceptable. I think Famous's mother told us all we needed to know in the realm of his fate. I'm still interested, like everybody else, like, okay, what happened? Who did it? it's gonna be. I'm working on the video right now for my folks about who did it and all of that because I got some ideas. But I think that his mother's expression truly confirmed what it
If
is and what
anybody's
it
going to
ain't.
know, you're going to know your baby. Whatever the state was, you know your child. So that was the confirmation
Yeah.
for me. Dane with the super chat here, being messy. Thank you so much, Dane, for the $5. I demand Tara keeps her screen enlarged for research purposes. Thank you, Dane. Salute Ashley, Mr. Jeezy. Dane, thank you so much for the $5. I'm just I don't know why I put you up here. Why did I put you up here? Yeah, I thought it was under the circumstances, this is the best that we could have gotten, even though I just really didn't want this because he is an essential character. But this was like instant confirmation. I didn't even see the mother's face. Once we got here and we got into this history of violence and the dad and the abuse and some of the things that Famous and his family went through prior to him ever even knowing who Kanan was, I said, okay, yeah, he's dead. There's no reason to go all the way around, bring back the sister, have the mom. We've never seen Famous's mom this much, and have this backstory to just kind of fulfill what we couldn't do because we no longer have this actor due to whatever circumstances. It was that. So this was confirmation. So I was just waiting on it. But I mean, it was, I don't want to say interesting. It was just really jarring because we had never heard anything from my understanding about Famous's father in this light or just Famous's father, period. Unless I missed it. I was like, I don't remember any of this. So for us to just open the episode with heavy-handed slaps, I was like, whoa, it's a little jarring. But not only do we get that, but we have the current future where Famous's mom is like, okay, it's been 3 months. You said wait 2, and it's been 3, and we still don't know, where my baby is. I need you to find him. At which he easily implicates Kanan, because that's who you need to talk to. If anybody knows what happened or maybe had a hand in it, it's most definitely him. But Ashley, I'm going to come to you first. How did you feel meeting Papa Famous in the state of this family running away?
Yeah. So for me, I think the sentiment of it all was lost. And here's why. Famous was already endeared to the audience, right? We've been endeared to Famous since season 1 for the most part. Like, he's a fan favorite. So I don't know if I necessarily, like I said, give me the history of violence and up until he meets his end and show me how he met that end, I think, to bring it all together. But just as it was presented in this episode, I was like, okay, well, damn. But I mean, I already cared for Famous, whether or not he had this history of abuse. I mean, it did give some shock and awe. It explained maybe some of his behaviors earlier on. I don't know. And I really, if there is the issue with the actor, I hate that it had to turn out this way because he was a worthwhile and important character. And I would have loved to see his story play out a little bit differently. I feel as though the mama's always been the mama. It didn't, to me, paint her in a great light. These are hard moments. It's hard situations, but again, it kind of explains his character more. I guess it was more fully developed that way. I just feel like if you the mama and you love your child so bad that you escaped this brutalizing man who stomped your baby out, to call the police on him when you find something in his room is insane and unhinged to me. So as far as the mama, I wanted to empathize with her, but I found myself empathizing more with damn Kanan, all about Famous, than I did his own mother. So yeah, thank you for the background. I mean, I already cared about Famous, so I don't feel like I necessarily needed all this unless they were going to cap it off for me in this episode.
And that's crazy because I think the episode, as far as this history, wanted us to have the opposite effect. I don't really even see this like really being for Famous because we didn't physically have his character here. This was for Famous's mom. This is for us to kind of relate to her and things that she's been through, and really, I felt like trying to get into her regret because she did call the police, and now I can't find my baby. This was more so for her, but we've never had that with her in the state that we kind of left her in the last season. And then just to get introduced to this little Famous we've never seen, it just kind of came across like, but I think it was just supposed to give levity to that. Watching it, you would feel like, well, if this was the circumstance, the situation where the gun was in the closet, that was the first time you thought to do that, because we couldn't even think to maybe call the police when we were being abused as well as our children. So it just feels a little warped, but I think this was for us to relate to her and her regret. Rudy?
I totally agree with your last point, Ty. I do think it was for Famous's mother to a degree, but I also think that that flashback and the subsequent ones were also for it's like a love letter, like a swan song to the character, knowing that we don't have him here physically in order to send him off in the way that they may have liked to have done it. They say, okay, well, we're gonna build his story contextually. And if you notice about Power, they typically don't do flashbacks in this manner.
Yeah.
We don't see like another series such as like Walking Dead and other things. They'll show you a flashback and they'll give you the contextual factors in order to build up a character's narrative and then make their death hit you that much harder. So to Ash's point about even like we love him already, yeah, I agree. We already do have a love for Famous, but we don't have like that context that they gave us. And because we don't have his character here physically, whatever again behind the scenes may be going on, the context builders were key to make when they found him later to make that kind of hit us all the more hard. It's like, damn, he was a kid, he had a rough life. We saw everything in between. We saw his journey in the hood, musical, moving up in the ranks and that. And just when he's about to hit his zenith as an artist, and he's getting his song played, tragedy strikes. But I do want to make a point too about the father of Fame. I personally don't think that was his father, because when you peep, if you go back and watch the scene, Famous says, is Lewis hurting mama or something to that degree. Now, biologically, and he detests him because of the relation that they go through. And typically, like with Kanan doesn't call his mother mom; he calls her Rock because he detests her. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a situation where in these shows, typically when you have a disdain for that parent, you'll call them by their first name, because to call them by their natural name, if you will, there's an affection that comes with that. It's a love that comes with that. So I think when I heard him call him Lewis, I'm like, well, could this be a situation where Famous's mother, who we know by now, who hasn't made the best decisions historically, maybe she had a situation where she had 2 kids and she's up under the provision of this man and she didn't pick the best man. And now she's going through this unfortunate situation, this hellish situation. But now it's like, okay, I got to get my kids away. The fact that she was willing to just pick up and bounce like that, I'm thinking that was just some guy who was over them, but wasn't necessarily their biological.
Okay. I'm hoping it was just that. And please don't have to try to introduce this man. Like, did he kill Famous? They didn't kill him. He got back up. Like, I don't have time, Power Universe.
No.
Thank you so much, DeMarcus. It's a shame what happened to Fame the Lame. Fame the Lame. What if Famous father Louise took out Famous? Oh, he's just saying the same thing. AKA Sean, just like Kanan smoked his son Sean. I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm hoping that's not what that was supposed to be, because that would really just be way, out there. But hey, this is the Power Universe. Thank you so much once again, DeMarcus. Said, which mother is worse, Joyce? It's gonna always be Joyce. It's gonna always be Joyce. At least Famous mother for the most part tried. That situation with the gun is not going to trump all the business that Joyce has done. Definitely not what we see her do in this episode. Cause what? That was crazy. All right, let's go on over here, because I have my ideas as far as like where I would like for us to go. We have him, we have her. We have Famous's mother touch bases with Kanan, and already she never believed anything that Garcia had to say. But above all else, we love Famous too, and we're gonna find out what happened. Do we believe Kanan? In a really perfect world, as tragic as it would be, I would love for Famous to have been deaded by Kanan. I would love that. I've just been waiting a really long time for the shift to happen in Kanan. And I want that, because if it's not Kanan, then I feel like we're going back into more so predictable territory, to where it's Marvin. And I don't want it to be Marvin, because I feel like that would be so obvious. If they subverted it and it was Kanan, because we do confirm it, I was like, oh, we had to write my boy off like this, and we made him a snitch. Okay, he's a snitch. Mom said, where's my baby? He was working with y'all, telling y'all everything y'all wanted to know. And we all know what happens to snitches in the
Stitches.
in the Thomas family. What happens? We know that. But as far as like my gut feeling for who killed him, I feel like it's Marvin. I really don't want it to be Marvin. I would love for it to be a whole like, aha, you thought it was, but yeah, it was actually Kanan. I think that would be so dark to really get us over to the Kanan that we're more so familiar with. And I would come to Ruby first.
I just I have to build on your point because you're making a good point. But two things that if it would be canon would be like I guess a clues to that. The first thing is the way he set with Famous's
Yeah.
mother is literally a direct parallel to how Rock set with D Wiz's mom, and they were showing that respect and more so as a cover up for it's like the Bishop and Raheem dynamic. You're the perpetrator, but you're also the comforter. So he the way he was sitting up with it holding her hand, I'm like, whoa, he sure is putting the extras on this here. Now I know they threw us off at the end with the emotionalism and how he was crying out for his friend, but who are we to know if he wasn't just crying out for the fact that he had to do yet? So I'm like, if he did it,
Yes.
that one thing would be a major clue. And also, Kanan, remember, Famous told Kanan what he had done.
Mm-hmm.
So if Famous had got as far, I'm talking about, he confessed it on the song in so many words, but he directly told Kanan what he did. So, and remember what Kanan told him, he said, and you better not ever say it, you better bury that. He said, bury that with you. I'm listening to the verbiage very closely. I'm like, okay, if Kanan took him out, it would be poetic, but it would be tragically poetic. But I agree that it would build a lot of his character. The fact, because remember, you don't kill nobody. You're not a true killer until you kill someone you love, and that would fit into that mold of what he said.
It would. And, we got a lot of emotion out of Kanan in this episode, but I was, it struck a nerve like, oh, okay, Kanan, but the energy that Kanan gave Famous all last season, all in his face, all hemming him up, all, pretty much slapping the ish out of Famous because, he was out here not trying to move the way I'm trying to move and be productive and sell this product and take it serious. And you just, lounging. There's that. I just would really love for it to be Kanan, but like I said, a lot of directions also point to Marvin. Ashley, what do you think happened to Famous? Who maybe did it, and did you feel like Kanan was sincere when he sat down with Famous's mom?
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna say neither Marvin nor Kanan did it, and venture to say that it could have been someone else that Rock used outside of the family. I'm hoping she learned her lesson using her brothers to do this type of work. I'm hoping she learned her lesson with Lulu all behind that, and I honestly think as much as we saw Kanan abuse Famous last season, I still don't think he's that Kanan yet. Like, I still don't think he's the fully realized villain yet. So I'm not even going to put that on him. I felt like the emotion was sincere at the end. Like I said, this is like one of the first times I think we've seen Kanan cry, like in this manner. So no, I don't think he did it. And I'm hoping that it was either Howard before his passing. I'm hoping it was somebody from, in season 2, oh boy was wearing him out. Ronnie, right, was wearing Famous out every time he saw him. I'm hoping the flashback will give us that, and it's not an inside job. The only benefit to it being one of the family members, of course, would be the rage that it would incite in Kanan and push him forward into his villainy, which I could be here for.
All of them. Push him forward, push Juke forward. Like, let's push.
Honestly, people was hating on Famous in the streets anyway. So I'm hoping maybe it came from something completely different, but we know they're going to push the narrative along. But I believed this encounter. I believed Kanan felt sympathy for his mama. I felt that in the room with them.
And in no universe do you feel like Rock gave he's snitching. Go get him, Marvin. You don't think that happened?
Well, I told you he was snitching last week.
That is for this story, like, because we don't have this actor, there's no way that, like,
Mama said it. He was working with y'all. He was telling you, and I said he wanted to keep his booty. He was snitching because he knew he couldn't survive jail. Listen, Famous wasn't gonna survive in the Pinta, so he had to tell. But yeah, I think there is a world where Rock hires the hit, but I don't think there's a world where she has Marvin do it. I just, no.
And definitely not Kanan. I really want it to be Kanan.
No, and I don't want that for Kanan. No, no,
I
no.
do. Let's go. You got something you want to say, Rudy?
The- And I was gonna say the only other alternative trigger herself, and we do have context for that with her killing. She used her brothers to lure him to the spot. So I think Lulu's completely out of the question because remember Lulu at this time is in rehab, so he's going through his own personal demons. And the last person he killed because he made a blunder personally that he had to clean up. He had to kill Scrap's mom. Remember?
Yeah.
So after that, he spiraled deeper into his own depression, and then he had to be gone. So the only other alternative could be Marvin, unless it was Rock herself. I think Rock is a strong candidate, though. Don't get me wrong. She's probably number one on my list, to be real.
Just that conversation that he had in the car with Lulu, it just feels like he knows something that we don't. But I just think, and then I just would want it to be one of them because we would need that to boost either Kanan's character or Juke's character to kind of look like, well, everybody else, y'all killed all these other people, but you killed Fame. Like this is different. I would be here for that. If not, I needed to turn Kanan into a whole bastard and for it to be him this whole time. That would be so good. But trust no one, not even Kanan, not even Kanan, and not even Little Man. First, I want to know why we spending so much time on his hay fever. You got hay fever, or you got a problem, sir? If you on them drugs, tell us now. Are you dipping into the product? There's that. And then we have what we knew once we get in here, and we're not talking about how we got hemmed up. I was held at gunpoint. This man with a scar came in here and threatened my life and left because we know Unique ain't leaving nobody behind, no way to have a witness to even attest to him being anywhere. And I was like, okay, so yeah, you're a little informant. All right, there's that. But it just seems like we're kind of making one big circle to get back to Quan. We do have him confronting Kanan, like, you might not want to be skimming, what about your mom? What about this? And we have Kanan having a guapa money in a storage unit. So we can really already know and get into what we know is going to happen. He's trying to move independently of Rock, period. And we have him give this intel to Unique about the little riff and the product. And of course, we're going to have him probably link up with Quan, who has a vendetta against Rock, period. But Ashley, how did you feel about this? And it's hay fever. Ashley, it's hay fever.
Girl, he's a crackhead. He's a crackhead. It was too glaring. It was too obvious. He's rubbing his nose. He got a problem. He got an addiction. A little bit is going to be a problem because I think that he's going to be a problem because listen, Kanan always has this inflated sense of self. He's been this way since we've known him, right? Since he got into the streets, he thinks he's that. He thinks he's him. And so I love the juxtaposition of it. I love this idea of this little person, literally, that you're talking down to on a regular basis, probably being the catalyst for your fall, right? Because he's going to be feeding everything to Unique. I couldn't trust a little bit before. He's smarter than Kanan gives him credit for. I think he's actually got more acumen than Kanan gives him credit for. It'll be very interesting to see how long Unique keeps him alive in this. But I mean, I'm here for the duplicity of it all. At the end of the day, Little Bit just want to live. So he's going to do whatever Unique, and Unique is the bigger bad in this situation. I'm more scared of Unique than I am of Kanan, so I'm going to do what I need to do. I had a sneaking suspicion of this just because he was left living. And we know that Neek has been taking everybody out with reckless abandon up until this point. But no, I'm here to see what Little Bit's gonna turn into. Like I hope he ends up being a beast, and it's like, yeah, I did it. You know what I mean? I hope we get a confrontation at the end of the day because I think we're gonna see more of this Kanan belittling him, talking down to him. Like if you broke, just say that. Like you need some money. I'm here for it. Because Kanan honestly does need to be checked on his attitude in a lot of situations. So I'll be interested to see how this plays out, but he's definitely a crackhead, definitely got a habit, and I hope it's exposed in the next couple of episodes.
Rudy, it's been hay fever since Crystal tried to give him some remedy like 2 episodes ago. Hay fever.
Yeah, I think it's Pookie fever. To be real, I think he got that Pookie fever. He governed by the spirit of Pookie. And it was funny to your point, Ash, about he was saying, Kanan say, yo, if you need money, just let me know. If he's dipping into the product, that could be just as detrimental as Kanan skimming off the top himself. So that would be something that would demand that. And then too, people who are strung out on any kind of drug. I mean, now granted, OC is under the threat of the gun, obviously from Unique. But the fact that if he's on drugs, he can be manipulated. He can be used to, and abused. You know what I'm saying? In an effort to go against Kanan. And information is a weapon. Is intel is powerful. And if we notice now how Unique has been moving, OC is just he's a pawn in just a greater scheme for Unique to get intel via allies. I think Unique has kind of hit this wall, not to get ahead of us a little bit, but I think he's hit this wall where he's like, I'm making these maneuvers, but he's running out of rope to hang and use against Rock. So now he's pulling for allies. That's why we see him make that one move, which I'm sure we'll get to, and other things. OC is just a part of this. Even the Quan piece, that's a part of this. He's pulling at straws, trying to get more allies so he can get close and harm and Rock. But I think OC definitely is on something. And I think before it's said and done, Kanan may have to do him, especially when he discovers what's really good.
Not him. It's gonna be Juke. We know she just waited to kill somebody again. Thank you so much, TP, for the super chat. Joyce took famous out, gave Kanan the motivation to give her a lethal dosage. The lethal dosage she wanted, and 20 years later, smoke Granny in OG Power. Yeah, she ain't left that hospital room. She definitely has not left. But you guys are really lit here. Shout out to the 105 people here. We really, really appreciate you guys supporting us. We're gonna show y'all some love, and we're gonna come right back. Y'all cooking tonight. I'm trying to go home tonight. Hope you can right. I just wanna live in a fantasy. I think we deserve it right. Top of the memories I've ever made in my life. Permanent ecstasy. The ladies is pimps tonight. Living inside a dream. A slave where the love is life. I put that on my own mama, on my hood. I look fly, I look good. You can't touch my bag, wish you could. I look fly, I look too good. Put that on my own mama, on my hood. I look fly, I look good. You can't touch my bag, wish you could. I look fly, I look too good. Yeah, most definitely appreciate y'all. TP, not the Tyler Perry writing. Haven't we had enough? We definitely not gonna go over there with the Tyler Perry writing, but I just thought it was so fun. This hey, somebody guilty, they telling on themselves this hay fever just so much, damn hay fever. All the lies. But getting here, don't waste my time, Marvin. Don't waste my time. Don't waste Juke's time. First, we have Juke having a little bitty piece of blowback from the last episode and her taking that abuser out, and the new friend she's made going, I did give you the address, real quick. Is there any possible way? What? Me? Kill somebody? No, I would never. The lie just rolled off of Juke back like it's naturally to do so. I not only did I kill him, but I loved it. But then we have Marvin here. I expect that from this newcomer. Marvin, are you all right? I mean, you killed somebody and you ain't even just like, yeah, I'm just giving you a little first aid, bro. I'm fine. This is the first body of many. Like, I'm all for Marvin trying to be a concerned dad, but we already know Jukebox majority of the time knows all the secrets where all the bodies are buried, especially when it comes to Rock. Like, she's known, seen, and been through so much. So with Marvin just sitting here kind of giving her this speech like she's just been protected and shielded from something all this time, like she doesn't know who her family is, all the bodies they've dropped, all the things that have happened, her mother, the relationship she had with Marvin prior to them getting it together. Like, yeah, I was like, Marvin, you putting a lot on it, but at least he checked. But we already know where Juke is. She dead already. This is the first body of many. Rudy, I'm going to come to you first. How did you feel about Jukebox and Marvin and her just kind of being comfortable?
You know what? I think I was getting the vibes that I got when there's a scene in OG Power where she was talking to Kanan about how, and we can kidnap him and do this and that, talking about what they was going to do to Tariq. And that same gleeful kind of expression that she gave us in that scene, I saw her kind of, mirror that in this particular scene where she was like, hey, we ended up doing a good thing. And now she's getting past the point of just, okay, liking killing and, okay, now it's feasible and it's easy in her mind. She's in a justification stage, and that's very dangerous. It's like, it's almost like killing is a bridge to the next thing. It's a means to an end. It's not some deplorable act, and I shouldn't feel bad about it. And it's unfortunate, man. It's so unfortunate, but I think that is scary to a degree. It almost got like a horror movie kind of vibe to it, and you can tell her own father, who is a killer. I mean, Marvin is a tried and true. He will take a life, but he does it in the effort of business. Marvin don't just take a life just to take it, and he's seeing that whatever that gene is that's within him has passed on to his daughter and has magnified. I mean, and even it's even greater within her because we're going to see a situation or situations with her where she's going to just for the fun of it. And Marvin don't do that. Marvin, he'll take a life, but he does it for business.
Yeah, she's gonna justify. He was a snitch. He had to go. Well, he was on drugs. He was skimming off the top. Had to go. He looked at me wrong. Had to go.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, were you here for this talk with Juke to give her a little tip to shake? Baby, are you all right? You just caught a body.
Marvin, worry about yourself. Marvin, worry about your decision making, sir. Like, that's what I need Uncle Marvin to do. This old cougar cat lady, it was such a strange interaction for me because you're going to ask me flat out if I did it. Like, girl, are you even from New York? And are you at this advanced age that you look? Because that, not in any real world would that ever be a question that you would just ask to this random woman that you met at the gay club. Like, that behooved me first and foremost. But Jukebox is playing it cool, being sneaky. She's always been that. Now, this murderous streak that she's going to be on, I think, of course, she's going to keep going with it because it's being positively reinforced. Well, you did that. You saved your daddy. Then when it comes to her, this is the best sleep I've had, in years, knowing that he's in the ground now. So not only does she kind of already have this idea in her mind of they deserved it anyway, I'm now getting positive reinforcement from it. So it's only going to perpetuate the behavior going forward. I'm here for her in her villain era, though. I want her to drop some more bodies. Go ahead, Juke. You be the enforcer. Absolutely. At least you now have direction and purpose. And I need her just to move in that direction. But yeah, that's an unbelievable conversation to have in a diner. Did you do it?
Did you kill it, girl? Are you wearing a wire, girl? No, of course not. Well, thank you so much to Marcus, who said Rock should realize that Unique is alive because of Prenessa. Prenessa checked the hell out of Rock. Team Prenessa. We know how much you love Prenessa, DeMarcus. We know that you want to drink Prenessa bathwater. It is well aware.
Was the check in the room with us, DeMarcus? I want to know where this check came from.
We don't get because where? Ain't nobody checking Rock. Nobody, especially girl. I was like, all right, you know what happened last time you rolled up to Rock's place, ma'am. Now, where we have Marvin trying to lay down the law of concern with Juke and make sure she's okay. Since this season started, Marvin has absolutely no pulse control. We literally have Rock say, you know what? We still got to do business with these folks. Go hard, but not too hard. Lean, but not too much lean. Take it easy, Marvin. This is like getting ridiculous at this point. And not to say, like we said, Marvin hasn't, Marvin has always been a killer. And I don't want to hear no excuses. Well, he said he was going to call them folks. I had enough of working with y'all. I'm going, he said the magic word. He said he was going to call the police. He don't want to work with y'all. I got to get rid of him. Yeah, what did the man in the bar say? Like, everybody's just... There's a fine line, like, between beating someone, being aggressive, laying down a firm hand, and just blasting your gun. Marvin is just getting really reckless, and it's scary. Like, what are we doing with Marvin's character? Ashley?
Yeah, this is his complete undoing. Like, we saw him cross that line. Like, people have duality, right? And we saw the pendulum swing far to the right last season. He was fully realized. He was operating in his daddy daycare. He was being a Captain Sava. Loved Marvin season 2. Baby, or season 3, excuse me. Now we're here, and it is ridiculous at this point, Tyra, because you have no impulse control now. All of a sudden, you can't control that anger. Somebody say a couple things out of line, and you just gonna drop them. Everything else be damned. Like, damn the connection, damn that we need this warehouse, all of that. Marvin is out of control, and I think it's only foreboding his untimely demise. He's on his way out of here because he's moving too reckless. I think it's hard when you come to a place where, oh wow, we've seen this growth and maturation, and now we see him revert back. I think that's a telltale sign that Marvin is on his way out of here, because it's not even smart business at this point. You are making enemies, you are dropping bodies, and it makes no sense because you felt disrespected, Marvin. I would think you'd be beyond that after anger management, buddy.
Are we beyond Rock shooting you as your big sister? Because your little big sister. Because that's where we're going. You are disobeying direct orders, sir. Like I told you to do something. Like everything you do has a rollover effect to me. We ain't even dealt with you rolling up on the man and having a little secret meetings with Stefano. Like, yeah, we're gonna revisit those things, and now you're adding this. Like, I really feel like Rock may have to handle business on Marvin. Because where are we going with this? Rudy, what's happening here? Where are we going with Marvin?
You know what? Something that to Marvin's reckless nature, Ash. I agree with you when it comes to him and like what he did to Stefano's bookie. That's reckless. Like, and that's getting back to that, like the parallel with him in the jukebox. That's something that like that he's passing on to her, that recklessness, kind of just for the hell of it, because he was there on business, but he just recklessly took him out after he felt disrespected. I totally agree in that regard. But I think with Terry, this cat, I think what Marvin did to him, Rock would have did to him in the same instance, because it wasn't just because he got disrespected, but the guy was talking. The guy was talking about snitching. He said he was going to the hey dude. Look, he was like, you don't want to be talking like that. You don't want to be, you don't want to be coming like that, because when you start talking like that, now you're telling me that you're a loose cannon, that you can't be trusted. And in this business, remember, Rock even told her son, I can live with, not trusting my son and this and that, but I have to trust my business partners. And when Terry said that to Marvin, he put himself in a spot where he could no longer be trusted. And I think that they still wanted to use their facility to, obviously to do their business. But David is the one that's controllable because he's kind of off. Terry is smart, he's sharp, and he's somebody, he's a loose end because he can't be controlled. So long as David can be controlled, it's like, okay, we're going to keep him, we'll smack him, become a hairstylist real quick, have to fix his hair when he get out of order here and there, I'll smack him here and there. But when Terry said, when he mentioned the police, I'm like, oh, it's over. It was completely justified.
Beat him, like beat him first.
You got to take him out.
Yeah. He was past the beating. He like, no, a beating. If I beat him, he gonna run to the police, and then I can't do nothing to him. I'm like, no, I gotta smack this. I mean, I gotta shoot this guy. And
then we do this when we already know that Quan hates our stinking guts. Like, what? I mean, everything is just a hot mess. Like, we already have this going on. Like you said, we have him over here. We can hem him up, slap his mullet out of place or whatever that's supposed to be. And, he get him some act right. He did try to get a little bass in his voice this episode, and we hemmed him up, and it was fine. But I'm like, could we at least, like, even if we were going to shoot him, at least give us the potential threatening, like, hey, like, ba-da-da-da-da, and Marvin knocks him out, and he says, he wipes the blood off, says, no, I'm still calling the police. At least give us that so Marvin doesn't look like such an idiot all the time. Like, something. But this is where it ends here with Quan. We have, our little shots being thrown, and he did what we knew he was going to do, throw it in her face. Like, I met your son. I hope you a better mother than you are, partner. Like, this is it. We already knew this was coming. And Rock no longer has motion pretty much both ways now. Because where exactly is this going to go after Marvin shooting Terry? Like, we can't, your product wasn't being, it's definitely not going to be moved now. Rudy?
Well, we're talking about Rock and Quan, correct?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. We're Rock and Quan. I mean, we all saw it coming to this. I think that Quan no longer respected her, and he was about to get he was already getting devious. I'm saying about to, but putting that tax on her was completely out of line, going against their initial arrangement. But I think what's really insidious is not so much them just breaking up, but him getting back with Unique and Rock not knowing Unique is alive. That could potentially jeopardize her new deal, because the Hafiz wants to meet with her partners. And we again, I mentioned earlier, Unique is he's pulling at straws for allies and things like that. So with this Quan piece, how can he hurt Rock the most in his next move? So somehow with Quan as an ally, they're going to figure out a way to try to sabotage that deal that she has coming up, and that would really hit her where it hurts. But I think as far as her, exiting or him firing her, whatever the case, I think she got hers off. She said everything she needed to say. She called him the worst thing you can call any man, who's acting outside of his character. So yeah, I like the scene for what it was, but I think it was a necessary move. But him meeting with Unique has worse ramifications than we can imagine it.
Ash, what about you? Do you think that there will be any blowback from Shang here? From Mortal Kombat for this situation, and do you think that Rock is going to care that Marvin didn't listen to what she said to a T, and it's just going to be enough that he was like, well, he said he was calling the law, so I shot him and killed him? Is Rock going to be cool?
No. He's not listening. You're not listening, Steven. You're not. Like it's almost like a case is being built against Marvin in Rock's mind. Because first of all, you're having secret meetings. I'm finding out through the grapevine what you're doing. Then you're doing all these side jobs and you're not following instructions, Marvin. Are we back to the beginning again? I think that she's keeping track of all of this, even though she hasn't exploded on him yet. I think this is just another tick mark that's leading up to whatever's going to happen with Marvin. There's always consequences in this game. Listen, with these people, there's always going to be consequences. So at this point, I mean, it'll ultimately boil down to a war. There's a war every season, right? So ultimately, there'll be some kind of shootout and some sort of repercussions for Terry. And the fact that Quan literally just hates the power that Rock wields, I think he hates the fact that she's a woman. He's got a lot of underlying resentments towards her. And I think this is just the kind of icing on the cake he needs to carry out a different plan against Rock. So yeah, definitely consequences coming.
Absolutely. The moment that he touched base, because we already know from way back he preferred Unique anyway. Even though Unique's like business, it didn't really even pop off and be as feasible as he has been with Rock. But it's just like, yeah, you're a woman. I don't want you in my face. I don't want you in my face. Thank you so much, TP, for the $5. Young Juke and Kanan. Nowhere near grown Juke and Kanan. Power origins will be when when will we see the ruthless development? That's what I'm saying, TP. If we gone with that famous narrative, we could get there. We can get there. I don't know how far they're planning to push these seasons or how many they're permitted to have. It would be nice to see that transition though, because we are in season 4, and we don't get a whole lot of seasons. Not like, oh, we making how far did Power go? How many seasons did Power? 6? Yeah, like, so it would be nice to start, just a little shift. I know they can't go completely overboard because we do want something to look forward to with new seasons, but a little shift would be nice. I think we're getting there, but it's just real slow, TP. But if Kanan kill famous, we in the parking lot. We are in the parking lot to the 50 cent of it all. And I'll be really, really excited for that. But I can't wait to get here because he's gonna be real giggity to see Unique next episode, because I'm sure that's where we're going. But in the meantime, regardless of what's going on, I think Rock is rushing. This is just really sloppy to me. To me, this is really sloppy, and it just feels so unsafe. And he says, hey, I'm down to do business, and Rock's focus is just like, no man, no product, no anything is going to be in front of me any longer. Just know that whatever's happening, don't try to, let a partner come in here who may be Stefano or whoever, then try to beeline me because, this is who I'm really talking to and dealing with instead of this black woman. It's always going to be me, and I need you to know that. That's that. But I feel like this is, with everything that's going on, us not really even knowing who's hitting us and taking our bodies and trying to ruin everything. Kanan's out here running around doing whatever he wants to do. It just feels like there's a lot going on. We just lost Andre, and we're still kind of just trying to push forward. I know she kind of really has no choice with Quan even before now, up in the ante on the product, but it just feels really unsafe, just like you did last episode when she was headed to that car and I thought she was going to the upper room. I knew she wasn't, but it didn't feel easy. Yeah, there's that, but I don't know. This just doesn't feel good. Ashley, how does this feel to you?
So here's the conundrum with Rock, right? There's stuff in her life right now that she's refusing to deal with, namely Joyce. And I think that Rock is in a race against herself. I think her moves are indicative of the fact that she wants to be nothing like Joyce. And for whatever reason, I think she's got something to prove. You know what I mean? I think that's why she's moving so quickly to become the Connect girl, because we didn't have 3 seasons where you could have tried to become the Connect. And now this is when we're making these moves, and it does seem very, very rushed and not thought out. And when I sat down and kind of thought about it, I was like, this has to be related to her mama, because she's definitely not going to deal with that. And I want to be the woman I said I am, right? And nothing like her. So I think it's interesting. I don't know what this new Connect is after, like, because why do you really need to know my partners? And the fact that she was just so willing to quickly acquiesce, I think it's partly that. And I also think it's partly now that the relationship is ruined, where she's at now, she's got to get product ASAP. So I think that's a part of it as well. It's very interesting though, because I do think Rock, we're going to see her come unglued this season more than we've seen this happen before. I think especially with the passing of Joyce looming. But it'll be interesting to see. But she's definitely being sloppy right now. And I don't think she's looking at the big picture. Because for me, if I'm Rock, I need to plug these holes, right? Because we're getting attacked on the regular at this point. I would be trying to hire somebody to be on the lookout to see who's behind this. Unique is walking the street without a mask at this point. So, girl, it's like nobody's seen him. Nobody, you ain't have no contacts on the street, Rock, that's seen him. You know what I mean? And everybody's this closed-lipped about it. Everybody he done popped up on, not telling anybody. Something's fishy. But I think by the end she'll figure it out. But I do think that there will be a boil over with Rock's character.
Rudy, is Rock rushing, or is she exactly where she needs to be?
I think Rock, she's definitely rushing, but it's for a cause. I mean, obviously she's desperate. You know, she's been placed. She's like, if we were playing chess, she'd be in check right now. You know, and she has to expand, but she's breaking a cardinal rule. If you go all the way back to the OG Power series in episode 1, when Tommy and Ghost were being hit, Ghost told Tommy, he said, you know, before we do this, we got to check on this and this. And I remember he said, we can't expand under fire. So Rock is under fire, but she's in a place where she's being forced to expand. So nothing, I mean, I can't say nothing good is going to come of it, but it's not going to happen the way she would have liked it to ideally, because she's in a rushed kind of space. And I think with Hafiz, I think he's treating her like, you know, in the square world, if you were being screened for any position that's way higher up, you know, hey, okay, well, let me check you out. We got to go to this interview. Okay, who's your references? Okay, now we got to go to this interview, this tier. You know, it's like when the stakes get raised, we really got to screen you to make sure we can trust you. So I think he, on the street level, he's doing that to her, but she's not in a position to deny him, and she's really not in a position where she has leverage to say, like, I know she tried to qualify it and say, oh, you know, don't I don't want you meeting this mafia individual, i.e. Stefano, and to be making a deal with him and to be coming to me like, really, because Quan, and to y'all earlier point about Quan, and I meant to say this, Quan, he detests Rock not only because of her business and whatever, how he feels she does business, but she's a woman. He's a sexist, and he's from an Eastern culture, you know, where the women are largely in check, and they, you know, they're under the thumb of the men by way of the culture and the society itself. So he's not even used to sitting in front of no woman and having her demand things to him and tell him how it's going to be, especially when I'm supplying her. So it's the very thought of it is offensive to him, you know. But I think she's making sure Hafiz knows that, hey, this is going to be my thing, but I don't even think she has leverage to qualify that. But it's tough. We're going to see how it goes
right now. Unfortunately, she needs him more than he needs her right now. So it's never good to be in that kind of corner. But Lulu in a corner, Lulu in a good corner, Lulu in a money corner, okay? New artist and new booty. We got a whole bunch of New Orleans because whoever these disciples were, they thought they was giving Wu-Tang Killers. They was trying to give into the 36 chambers over there, but he gave like maybe 38 chambers. It was kind of over there. And then we have this aspiring white rapper here that it seemed like Lulu had some invested interest in. He liked the artist, but regardless of that, Lulu he making the girl work hard, ain't he? See what you gotta sit on top of your head, Lulu. Like give the girl some. Dang, Lulu, Lord. Now you want to play hard to get, Lulu. Lulu's playing hard to get, and it's just all of this yip yap, and she telling this man everything from an education, a background, this, that, and I'm worthy, Lulu. Just give me some. Which little alcoholic self? And he finally gave in. He finally gave in, and they have their night. But in the midst of meeting these artists and exchanging all these pleasantries and this flirting, when Lulu's not giving her the cold ass shoulder, she asking a whole lot of questions. She asking a whole lot of questions. I wouldn't be telling her about nothing. I'm not telling her about. Don't ask me about Famous. Don't ask me about his sister. Don't ask me about anything. And I know Famous is still, considered an artist who's missing at this point or whatever. Well, probably not moving forward. But yeah, I don't know. With the position and her having a background at the record label, there's that. But I'm just always weary of when we meet a new character, a woman. Can we trust her? Does she have good intentions? It's just a question because I felt like she was being nosy. Ashley, how do you feel about Lulu and Imani? And these artists, I put would they be a factor because it did seem like Lulu had this interest, especially for the white artist. I think DeMarcus said that was supposed to be third base. I was like, okay. I didn't really get into third base like that, but if that's what it is, all right. But if he has more of an affinity for this artist, will that maybe do something with, call the paramedics, be real, or maybe feeling some type of way like he's not getting all the attention? I don't know. I was just thinking. But Ashley?
Yeah, because where is B Rilla right now? Is he still in your house, Lulu? Is he still laid up over there? I don't like this narrative of Imani having to chase Lulu's slow D. I don't like that. I don't like why she's running after Lulu's D, and he, I ain't got. And then y'all give us the love scene in the afterglow. Y'all don't even give us the love scene. Like, what was the point? What's happening in the Kanan verse? We don't get love scenes no more. Like, y'all not. Especially with the grown folks, y'all not showing grown folks love scenes no more. Like if we're gonna, anyway, Amani's an op. She's a plant. You know what I mean? Because she worked too hard to go after Lulu. And if you're Imani, why do you want Lou? At the end of the day, there's trust there. Like, you know what I mean? Like she's got a motive. And I don't think it's just artist and repertoire. She got a motive and it's something different. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't people. I wouldn't. I don't trust Imani as far as I can throw her. She's beautiful, beautiful gowns, beautiful skin. Love her down. But this Lulu's tryst, I don't trust it. I don't. She's the one I will say I don't think is in danger of being with Lulu. I think he's in danger of being with her.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's the issue because at least when we met her, she does have a reputation. It's not like she just popped up out of nowhere and she's like a plant. She does work here. She has a reputation for success. It's just her pressing Lulu so hard. Like, girl, who is Lulu? I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe it's just attraction. Like he's sexy to her, but it's like Lulu gives you nothing. He's giving you nothing since he's met you, and they have this like little banter where she's flirting, but he's saying everything. But hell, get out my face. I don't want none of that. I don't know. It's just it's like okay, you're growing on me. You're proving yourself to me to be worthy to get some of this. All right. I mean, okay, but Lulu might have wanted an alcoholic D anyway. But all right, I think that's what's turning me off, or just like, can we trust her? Because why are we pressing Lulu so hard? I guess because he's fine. All right.
He was fine in them pleated pants. Just side note.
He did. He looked nice. He looked nice this episode. He did. But I ain't chasing you. Well, I went to school at the such and such, and why? Who is Lulu to prove yourself to, Rudy?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't even think she was reciting all that to kind of more or less prove herself. I think she was just low-key flexing. But I think the attraction between them, I think she liked Lulu because, first of all, he's a talented man. He's someone who possesses a gift that is an asset to her and her business. Yeah, he's a good producer. He's a proven producer. You know what I'm saying? Although he's had his issues, she don't really know about his past or anything like that. Lulu is, if he was still in criminality, I would say that, okay, him, she could potentially, like Ash was suggesting, maybe be one of the people, this and that. But the fact that he's not in that world, at least up to this point anymore, I think she's just somebody who's she's a
Mhm.
square. All her life been a square, and Lulu, you know, he got them vibes, got
Rudy,
them
that's what
hood
happened. She went wrong side of the tracks.
vibes.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, and I think she's intrigued by him because, to be honest, she's not his type. You know, we've seen Lulu's type. First of all, Lulu's type ain't even really. We ain't seen like a black American woman or anything like that. We've seen him with these Spanish chicks. You know, they're from New York or whatever like that. So, but at the same time, this woman intrigues Lulu just the same because what you know, her like her sophistication and how she acts like she's just above it all. You know, you can see the way. And go back and watch the episode. You can just see in these little pockets where he's looking at her. He's like, oh, okay, shorty. You know, now the chocolate's starting to look good to him. You know what I'm saying? But I think her allure or her attraction to him is the fact that he ain't all in her face trying to be attracted or trying to, you know. She invited him over to see the record or to hear the record collection and all of this. Lou was like, you know, he ain't really in her face like that. You know, I just think it's like that. It's cat and mouse.
Yeah, I got that. I just like, don't let this lady work hard. Like, she's attractive, she's successful. Lulu, since when did you have all these standards that needed to be met before you hopped on it? All right, okay.
Sorry, saying you a drunk.
Thank you. Thank you, DeMarcus for the $5. Imani Fran is an attorney that will help Lulu and Rock since Andre Barnes is unalived. Okay. I'll be sleepwalking through Lulu and her scene. I'm like, Lulu, I'll be awake now. I just was waiting on him to get that out the way. Like, get this girl some. How long she got to press you, Lulu? I was like, oh, you actually do know something about artists. All right, we can go to bed. we can get it on. But yeah, I would hope that Rilla is not still at his house. Like, what are we doing here? But yeah, I'm tired. We tired, Unique. I'm tired. Oh Lord, I am really excited at the aspects of whatever this is being potentially over next episode. I'm tired of Ash running around. He got to catch them all. Anybody, whoever is very, anybody, whoever, looked at me wrong. Like, you ain't Mitch. Nobody has time for this, Unique. Okay, this hobo tour that he's going on. I understand why, but it's not in any way feasible for me to see Unique running around for what looks like putting his bed in and begging, you got a problem, I got a problem too. Like, we need to all link up and get on it. Like, there's that, but it's like, oh God, if I see him, it doesn't help that he hasn't changed his wardrobe either. I know he's supposed to be incognito, but have you washed? Have you washed yourself? It's been some time. I hope he's showering on a regular basis because the black hoodie, the sweats, I'm sick of it. But I will be really glad when we are off of this hobo tour. It's just giving homeless bake ring. And you got a problem with Rock? Yeah, I got a problem. I'm the king around here. I got it. Okay, all right. We got it. I'll be glad when he put that fur on and his little pelly and his gold chain so we can get to where we need to be. Ashley?
I'll be glad when he gets off this fake John Wick revenge tour because sit down somewhere. You're not John Wick, sir. You're not him. You'll never be him. And the fact that I have to keep seeing him banging his head against stuff, like, all right. They didn't give you what you wanted, Nick. You held it together in the room, but you go and spaz in the car. Sir, if you really him, if you really that dude, get it out the mud and do it yourself. Why are you calling on the Italians to help you, sir? It be about business. Go bring it to her front door. You bad. You big and you bad, Neek. Again, I'm still struggling with the TBI. I'm still struggling with the consistency of it all. Because sometimes you got sense and sometimes you can't control it. But other times you've got a full plan and you can control your temper, your rage, your anger. You ain't getting them white folks establishment and act no fool, did you? You walked outside and you waited. I'm ready for this to be over. Like, put on your Coogee sweater and get back to being fine. Neek again with some sense.
Oh, Coochie down to the socks if you got to. Can you please just hurry up, Neek? And I get it. Like, it's not just about him, putting his bid in and wanting to take Rock down. He wants to break down the enterprise, the inner workings, and stop motion on your product. I got this. Like, it's supposed to be like a mastermind situation. And then he just comes out, and then it's like, yeah, I disassembled everything you had moving. It's not just about me wanting to get revenge on you. And it's like, do you actually intend to kill Rock? Is that what we're doing? Because it's giving you Miss Rock. It's giving you on some cat. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounded like. You are a scorned ex. I never thought we would get here and Unique would be a scorned ex, but this is what it is because it's way more than business. Even though he says that, it's giving, yeah, so how it tastes when she had gave you some. What does that have to do with the business? It's bigger than that, but yeah, I think next episode we're going to be out of the Pokemon phase. Rudy?
I literally just want to build off what you just said, and somebody actually echoed it in the comments. But remember, way back in the first episode of this season, in the flashback when he was being rescued by Early, and Early had to lay him on the bed, and he's laying there, he's like, "Oh man, but tell her I love her though, tell her I love her." I'm like, right there, because the question really, what I hear you all asking is, for Unique, what's his motivation? Like, why is he going so hard at this point? Obviously, his plan is unraveling. He's pulling at any little straw he can. What is his motivation? I definitely believe it's because not only did he feel betrayed by someone who he was, who he had gone through being uncool with, now he cool and all that, but it was just somebody who he loved, who he had affection and feelings for, and all of that. And when the passion is there on the positive side, then the negative side hits just as harder. You know how they say about a woman scoring, so we just inverse that in this case. This man is scoring and he's moving in that capacity. You know what I'm saying? And it was something else you had said, Ty. Oh my God, it's leaving me. But pretty much, I think Unique is moving in a scoring fashion. He told us that he loved her way back in the beginning of this season, and now he's acting like that. And it's funny too, Ash, what you said about him going crazy. He got outside of that establishment. He wasn't in Phil Russo's spot in Jersey, knocking over drinks and at the bar going. He got in the car and beat on his own steering wheel because he knew what time it was. So yeah, it's selective TBI at this point for sure.
Rudy, I have a question now, Rudy. You talked about love, and I know he said it. However, how much in love can a man be if he got a whole baby mama at home with 2 kids? How much in love could he have been with Rock? Was it love, or was it lust, or was it infatuation? Because I don't see that being love, Rudy.
I'm gonna tell you. Okay, when he killed Andre, what did he say to him? The first thing he said to Andre before he killed him, he said, "Is you effing her? Because if this and that, she surely is effing you," or something to that degree. But he's pretty much saying, "Yo, it was almost like a crime of passion. It wasn't, it was to dismantle her enterprise and all of that on the meta side. But he killed Andre because he thought Andre was hitting him. Man, let's be real. He looking at her, hugging on him, and doing all. He was like, man, that used to be me right there. I used to be right there in that space. And now she think I'm posthumous Neek, and she think it's sweet. Like, no, it's up now.
I think it's just hard, Rudy, because we saw the brinks of what could have been, some steamy, lustful type situation, but their situation didn't get a whole lot of time to blossom. It was over as quickly as it started. So for him to have this much, it's like, all right, well, pipe down. All of this, all you guys had was, effing. That's what you had. You didn't have any love. That's all it took. It is Rock. She might, grab it. It might be, some rah. I don't know.
Ladies, two things. It's only 2 things. First of all, y'all know, y'all dealt with guys. You know how it go. Yeah. Either Rock stuff is that sweet, or Unique is just a sucker. He's like what they would call a simp. He's like, oh man, I ain't never. Like you say, you got a baby mama, and say he wasn't even really. We never saw him intimate with Pernessa. Remember, he was just kind of taking care of her. He was doing right.
Babysitter.
Yeah, he was doing right in the moral sense, but he wasn't intimate. We never saw them in love scenes and stuff like that. He was in Rock, he was on that. Rock was doing something to his mind. They was playing knockoff Jodeci records, because they're not clearing no 90s records. So they was playing knockoff Jodeci records. You feel me?
They were. And then it's him, the one thing that he can't seem to remember, you took out my brother, you did all of this, got him to take me out to take over this empire. So there's this mix of revenge and you put it on me. I told you said she was giving out, what did I call her little poisonous punani? She out here giving out coochie and death. That's what Rock out here handing out coochie and death, and you giving it to the brother, and I was a recipient, and I'm not gonna allow you to do this to another man ever again. All right, Unique, but I'll just be here for it. Pernessa, please, Pernessa, please, Pernessa. I knew that this was gonna come around. I've been waiting on Pernessa to acknowledge, in a way, hey, who the hell is leaving me this money here? that was always there, but Like, don't roll up with the smoke, Perness. I just be feeling bad for Perness because we know, like, she ain't, just I'll be want Rock to slap. I don't be wanting to get hurt, Perness ain't did nothing to nobody, but I was like, slow your roll. Don't come here with the smoke. But in her mind, she's like, it had to be you feeling guilty because you the one who put down Neek. It's like, no, and even if I did, what the hell? You think I would leave you money? Are you insane? And I was with her like, Rock's gonna leave. Rock of all people, she's gonna be trying to make sure you and your son is good. Are you stupid, Pernessa? There's that, and of course, in a perfect world, we would like for a light bulb to go off in Rock's mind and go, hey, like, just is it? But it's no, we can't get there because as far as the streets are concerned, Unique is dead. I'm having an issue with how much time has maybe gone by. Has it been like 3 months, 6 months? Like how long has it been? That's a concern also. But yeah, I was like, she would barely leave, Marvin and them some money. You think she left you a guap of money to make sure you and your son were straight? Okay, Pernessa, pipe down. Rudy?
Yeah, I think Pernessa is just she's in an erratic state. To even believe that, first of all, to even run up on Rock. Remember, Rock almost smoked her last season. We're seeing them get into a little light fisticuffs, nothing heavy, but she definitely almost smoked her. She rode up with the pistol. So we know how she get when she get erratic. But I think also too, Pernessa's mind is starting to unravel to a degree because she's like, I think she just wanted a resolution to why she's getting that paper. And I think it's even run across her mind that, wait a minute, is Unique. And then she stops it right there. She's like, no, he's dead. No, he's gone. No, he's dead. No, he's gone. So I think she's trying to find any rationale for getting compensated in the way that she is. And Rock tried to give us something. Hey, maybe one of his friends or whoever, somebody who felt like they would have loyalty to him by proxy, was loyal to you and this and that. So I think that was her trying to ease her own conscience, trying not to believe like she's crazy or like, whoa, like, if I know it's not what I'm thinking it is, because even though Unique is dead, spiritually speaking, there you can feel a person's presence. You can feel their aura. So we all have this inclination, irrespective of where we fall on the spiritual spectrum. You can almost, like when your parents are around, or if they're doing well, or if they're not doing well, you can feel this. You know what I'm saying? So I think with her, she's starting to feel something that she can't shake, and she's trying to get a resolution to it. She's trying to get some kind of answer for that. And hopefully she don't get smoked and or slapped, because that could happen.
I don't know. She rolled up like she wanted that smoke, and we know Rock will give it to her. To slap her upside the head and take your ass home. Ashley, Pernessa, please.
Yeah, just Pernessa just she been different. You know what I mean? I would have been here for the slap. I'd have been here for the beat down. Stomp her out a little bit, Rock, because how dare you? Rock, as far as giving somebody money, she's barely going to give Kanan money. I think Lulu and Marvin would just be on them streets. Girl, be for real. Be for real. Go ask the neighbor. Go ask the neighbor. Go ask somebody who linger outside. Ask good crackheads. They didn't see him walk up. He wasn't disguised. He's not wearing a mask. Somebody saw a man walk up to your mailbox and put something in there. Pernessa, yeah, I agree though. I think that she is trying to because she probably seems crazy right now to herself. Like, I know I'm not imagining this. Like, he's really gone. He's gone. We've put him away. There's no way it's him. So who else could it be? So I think it was innocent in that respect. But Pernessa been delayed. She's been delayed. It doesn't surprise me that she would roll up on Rock like this. You in danger though, girl. You in danger. You got one time. Don't do it again.
Child, not delayed, Ashley. You gonna put a delayed on somebody, I swear. Speaking of delayed, like, Mama Joyce, get out of here. If you want to go that bad, just throw yourself off a cliff. She gonna be just forever diabolical in this way. Like, we have I fallen and I can't get up. Anybody who didn't watch Ashley and I react to this episode, please go bring it back, because we found this to be very comical. We found this to be extremely well, I'm gonna say I did. I did. Like, girl, get up. That was that. And we have them being very concerned. Like, we got to get you checked, regardless of the cancer. And we were calling everybody. It's just like, the cancer is kind of it's not only just that, but she needs around the clock care, and we're trying to just put our bid in for who's gonna do it. Lulu said, "Hell no, get somebody else to do it." And Kanan and they're like, "Well, I can't." At which we have Marvin. Marvin come in. He's trying to make sure she's comfortable, make sure she's okay, do what he can. Yeah, I don't really need this. I need you to give me that Ray Nathan special. For anybody who don't know what that Ray Nathan special is, it's a healing situation. Gonna hit you off with this hot dose, and you go, whoo, you're gonna go out. You're gonna go out of this world. And Marvin thought about it for all of a minute, even brought it, and he couldn't bring himself to do it. And then instantly he was sorry, Marvin. He said, "I'm sorry, I can't." He was just sorry. But it's not like sorry, Marvin. Sorry. It's like, no, it felt like, yeah, you're sorry. You've been sorry. I never liked you. Always hated you. And we know with Joyce, this is coming from a place of illness and all this. But my issue is, were you going to proposition Kanan? Were you going to proposition whoever was in there? Were you trying to keep this under wraps until maybe you got to this point and keep it close? Is this why you're trying to get close to Kanan? Where you go? Who are you going to proposition to do this? Like, that's just such an odd situation to me. He walks out, but he does leave the dosage there. I thought this was such an unfair situation and an expectation for her to ask Marvin, let alone anybody in the family, to do. Rudy?
I'm gonna tell you like this, man. And y'all, to y'all credit, y'all have been talking about Joyce in the negative since we started this, and I mean truly going in. And at first, I'm looking at it from just this season. Not we know she got issues in past seasons, but just from this season, I'm like, oh no, she seemed like she's trying to. But let me tell you something. Mama Joyce is the most deplorable character on the series. She's worse than Neek. She's worse than Ronnie. She's worse than anybody. Think of the worst character. She's worse than the person who potentially killed Famous. We don't even know who that is, but she's worse than that individual. Mama Joyce is so bogus because she truly, she's an art. She's an artist in a sense when using manipulation. She's appealing. She chose Marvin for a reason. That's not no mistake. Obviously, Lulu, he knew better. He's like, look, I don't want to fall back into old habits. I don't want these demons that I didn't put in the back burner to remanifest. But she chose Marvin because Marvin is her oldest son. And if you're the oldest child to your mother, there's a special bond there that every other child don't necessarily get. It's cosmic. It's something else to that. I'm the oldest in my family with my mom, and it's different. When we kicking it and stuff, even when my brothers and stuff is around, it's just different. And that's no shade on anybody, but it's the truth. So there's a link there that it comes with being the first. And she was trying to appeal to that to get to have him do what she wants. And then right when it doesn't happen, notice how quick she turned. How them demons that govern her just come out and just attack. And they do so not because she necessarily even feel like that. But she remember, she said, "You're more of a man than Rock gives you credit for." She was trying to appeal to him being a man. And then when he didn't do it, she started to denigrate his manhood. But she did that in order to get him to do it. I'm like, this woman is terrible.
Terrible.
She's absolutely terrible. So yeah, and that's a great point about Kanan, because I'm like, who's to say she wasn't buddying up to him in order to get him to do that eventually?
There was never any other moments where we saw her try to buddy up to either of her grandchildren. And all of a sudden, as soon as you have cancer, it's that. And I just want it to be between us. We don't have to, if it was up to her, it would have just been her and Kanan even up to this point. I think this is more reasoning for her to even trying to get close, because she knew she was getting here and she wants to be taken out of her misery. This is sick. Ashley.
Yeah, I told y'all she was a demon from the pits, and I was ready for her to go back to her maker. Because here's the thing with Joyce, you can only hide something for so long, right? This whole sweet natured, it's the death doing it to her. She wants to this elderly hoe did not want to make amends with anyone. She didn't. She did not. This was all about assuaging her conscience and getting her handheld on the way out. That's all this ever was about. Her true nature slipped multiple times. And I think the first episode, when she's talking to Kanan, she's like, I'm not like your mother. I would never ask that of you. You know what I mean? Because I'm different. I'm your granny, right? Mm-hmm. And now we see the same thing with Marvin. No, Rock always underestimated you. I always knew you were something special, Marvin, until you're sorry ass Marvin. Sorry, Marvin. Sorry, Marvin. Girl, go
Jump off a cliff. Like I
Go
said.
directly to the hot place because you're terrible and you're the reason why your raggedy kids are the way that they are today. You did this to them. And I wish it could have been a repentant exit, but she couldn't give us that. And I think when you're nasty for your whole life, when you're an egomaniacal manipulator your entire life, there's no reverting it, even in death. I think it's just more of her true character, and she'll die in misery. She will, because she's an awful person. But I wouldn't be surprised if one of the other kids does carry this out for her, or maybe even a grandkid. We don't know yet. It's not
Oh, Rock.
beyond her to ask Kanan to do it. It's not. It's not beyond her, in my opinion.
Child. Who?
Hey.
Rock. Go ahead, Rudy.
No, real quick, I just want to say to y'all point, everything you said is ashe. But to y'all point, isn't it funny how she said she ain't had no money for the ambulance? But then when Marvin asked her about the morphine, how she get the morphine, she said, "Oh, I bought it from the doctors." I say she ain't shit.
No.
She ain't nothing.
Sit your butt down, baby.
How you buy that? You can't afford to get to the doctor, but you can afford to die by the doctor. She bogus.
She's a mess. Do you think if she had asked Raquel, you think she would have done it?
I think, to be honest, I think Rock, she'll go back and forth, but I think gleefully to a degree. Rock hate her, man. You know, and you know what? It's because Rock fears, and we talked about this a little bit last week, but she fears becoming that. So I think she'd do it just off the strength of killing that within her that fears, embodying that one day with her own son. And that would be a fate worse than death based on the reactions. When we see Rock get emotional, and we rarely do, the only time she shows emotion is when she's dealing with that woman. And it's because of their history. And it's because Rock, the thing, and it's like this in our family sometimes, the person that you detest the most, or the person that a person in a family detests the most, the biggest thing is them fearing becoming like that, or them seeing attributes of themselves in that person. And so, yeah, I think she'd do anything to get away from that, for sure.
And it's not like you no longer mobile or your hands don't have function. You could have did it yourself. You could have did it yourself.
But she's a coward. Remember that. But this is a tough conversation. This is tough. But I'm gonna say in the case of Mama Joyce, I ain't talking about the world or in general. In the case of Mama Joyce, she's a coward. She's scared. Remember, because when we first meet Mama Joyce, she's in the church, right? And we know that there's biblical mandates and stuff that's against that type of an action, right? So in her mind, she too scared to do it because she knows she gonna really face the fire for that. But she say, if I get one of them to do it, then it's some kind of peace, or some redemptive action I can have in that. But she's a coward, man. That woman bogus, man. She bogus. I'm trying not to call her nothing crazy, but she's very bogus.
Well, she already got called an elderly hoe.
Oh yeah, but that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
This cancer, it's just got me down, Mom. If you could just go. I was like, ma'am, so who are you acting? Who acts like this? This was, I hated this for Marvin, but yeah, he left it there. Maybe she'll get somebody else to do it and get her little strength up, because I did see how everybody else answered and kind of at least came down there. Rock ignored the phone call, didn't even answer. She was like, yeah, I'll get to that when I get to it. Like, it will be nice to go on open that next episode with Joyce already out here, and we'll just have Rock deal with that. Like, oh, I didn't even get to say my piece, and she's dead. Yeah, she gone. We find famous, under this. I was like, oh, this is a trash way to go out. We got this one-off situation with this kid trying to hit up this liquor store, and he's chased into this abandoned section here, and we find Famous's body under this mattress, and of course we have his mom come to identify it, relay this message to Kanan, and he reminiscing as well in this regret. I think the both of them share regret for how they played their roles in Famous's life, with her, calling the police with the gun, and most definitely Kanan for how he treated Famous last season and how he even allowed him to be treated by Ronnie. I think it's just a clear message that you can't go back, you can't salvage anything. Your friend is gone, your son is gone, but I still want Kanan to have done it. That would be really, really good. I was like, oh man, that would make my day. But right now, at this moment, it just looks like Kanan is really feeling down about losing his best friend. Ashley?
Yeah, and like I said, I believe that this was a sincere moment. As long as we've known Kanan, we've known Famous.
Yeah.
Famous for better or worse, what was his friend, and Kanan was his. Now the ugliness of it all last season, gave me pause because don't cry now. Cry last week when you was hemming him up in the corners, Kanan. But no, I felt that, and I do. I think this was a moment, and I like how you made that parallel. I think both of them are finding the regret in this moment, right, for their past deeds and how they handled Famous towards the end of his life. Mama turning him into the popo. Because, girl, what the hell are you thinking about? You find the blicky in his room, and that's the first thing you do to a brown boy in New York back in those days. That's what we're doing. Like, that's why I said I didn't feel nothing for her in this, because, girl, you set him up for the okie doke. At the end of the day, Famous was doing what he was doing, but as a mother, your first call is to the police. That was your first call. That was your first inclination. No, I ain't got it to do for her. But for Kanan, I did feel that for a moment because I haven't seen him in this type of grief before. So I'm very curious about what this is going to do. Is this going to turn him harder? Is he going to try to have a temporary like redemption tour and be like super savior for an episode or two? I'm very interested to see how this is going to play out, but I definitely believe that this was a sincere moment for Kanan.
Rudy?
Yeah, I agree with that. As far as this being a sincere moment for Canon, I think that it's moments like this that bring us back to the true essence of what the show is supposed to be about. Because I know so many times, like I read on social media, man, it's like Raising Kanan is getting less and less about Kanan. It's getting less and less. But this moments like this truly show us why we're supposed to be seeing this origin story. And these type of moments are character builders because it's going to make him and shape and form him into that person that we knew. That's going to be callous, going to be heartless. And I don't think you get to that point without losing, like you say, your best friend and other things that you love as well. But your best friend is a part. It runs part and parcel to the things that you love and the losses that you take on your way to becoming one of the most famed villains, in any given universe. So I think him losing his friend this way, reminiscing, holding his tape, he has a keepsake where now his friend, although he's dead, he can turn on his music and listen to him, and he can reminisce in retrospect on their times. Remember being out on the corner, having to sell that tape. And Ash, I like that you brought his mother into the chat because I've been going back and forth on this, but I'm definitely gonna do a little expose dealing with his mama because his mama got a lot to do with him being in the state that he is, unfortunately. Because even worse than her giving that gun to the police, she should have never kicked him out the house. What were you thinking when you kick somebody out the house at a young age who ain't got no resources and no recourse? He's going to get into things. And when he got back and expressed that to you, he should have been in a situation where he could confide in you about any of that stuff. And even, I mean, your mother, to her credit and to her detriment, any mother, if she's worth her salt and she's worth the name, there's things that you can do. We hear mothers, they'll defend my son. Oh, my baby this. Your baby could have been a killer. He could have been this and that, a rob. He could be anything, but he's still my baby. And there's supposed to be some kind of a blind loyalty with that. So for her to go, it's like everything she's done, she's transgressed against him and put him in a situation where death was around the corner. So by putting him out the house, you put him in a situation where anything could happen and anything happened.
And I'm looking at the chat. Did anybody think that this young man stealing from the store was Ghost? I didn't think that.
I've been seeing that.
They said it when we were watching it Thursday night. They were in the comments saying that was the young Ghost.
I mean, I did at least look at the credit. I was like, why would y'all even? I think it was just supposed to be just a misdirect to get us here to find the Famous's body. But I don't even think the boy had like a name. It didn't say, but I didn't. That didn't cross my mind. Be like, oh, is this Ghost? Is this the moment where everybody? No, he just here to assist in us finding the body. It would be nice. We get real close to stuff popping off. We run into Tommy and Ghost. It could be fun. No, go ahead, Rudy.
Well, I will say real quick, I don't know if that kid was Ghost, but the store owner definitely looked like Angela's father. I will say that. So when they brought that in, it was really the connection to, from what I've been seeing, like this is Angela's father, and he had that kind of an aesthetic, So I'm like, well, I don't know if we may be reaching on the Ghost point, but I remember him recounting when he was in the hospital bed, speaking to Angie, oh no, that boy's no good. We, used to chase him out and had to chase him around my store and this and that. So I'm like, I can see that part of it, but I don't know if that was Ghost per se.
If this is the introduction of Ghost, this is tired. We need something.
It's got to be bigger.
Yeah, we need something that says Beyonce. We need we need the introduction to be really epic when we see Tommy and Ghost. I think is really important. So this will be underwhelming. I really wish that Famous could have got a proper send off. Like, this is very unfortunate. I'm sure once we reveal who shot him, then maybe we'll do some tricky camera perspective type of work to see, something. But like, this is not the same. I saw somebody mention D-Wiz, even Scrap. All those deaths hit. This just felt like a letdown. Like, it's like, oh, we didn't have a choice, so this is what we had to go with. So it doesn't feel the same. But Ashley, predictions for the next episode?
Oh, girl, I ain't got no predictions. Next episode, I know we're not going to get what really happened to Famous probably until the end of the season, so it won't be there. But definitely we'll see Rock making moves. I think Joyce is going to get her wish. I think we will get our send-off to Joyce in the next episode, prayerfully. I think Lulu, we'll get to know a little bit more about Imani and how that's going to work with Lulu, what their dynamic will shape up to be. And like I said, Rock will just be making moves. Unique will probably get cleaned up next episode. I'll say that. I'll say Neek might be coming on the up and up in episode 6.
Rudy?
I'm gonna go just a little contrary to what you say, because I think that in the next episode I think we find out definitively what happened to him and who was the culprit behind his death and all of that. The episode title speaks to this. It's called The Price of Fame, and what we know is that it ain't cheap. And if we I cross-reference it when I hear things, I cross-reference it in like other quotes and sayings. And one thing like Malcolm X used to say, the price of freedom is death, and people view fame in theory as a form of freedom. So the price of fame is death. So we may find out who was behind his death. That may be a reach to y'all, but I'm like, that's how I kind of put it together. I'm like, okay, well, the price of fame, we may see. And then we know that in the credits, the trailer for next week, they're kind of alluding to this, Kanan's going to be on a rampage trying to see who did what. I think he may run into Freddy's people potentially. That would make sense given his proximity to what he did. But I think we're going to have a definitive answer, and then I think the rest of the season will be focusing on Unique and Rock and working that situation out. I don't think Unique's going to be hidden for that much longer. I give him maybe one more episode once this Famous debacle is worked out, and then I think we're gonna move on and really get to a real resolution for Rock and her character going into season 5.
I just need a shift with Kanan. If it's not, the Famous situation, then I need, okay, well, Kanan took out Unique. I need something, to move him more, because he's still like a boy to me, and he's still a boy, but there just needs to be more shift with his character, because season 5 is like really deep into the show by then, and I want to see that big like change in him for him to kind of grow more into adulthood and standing on his own. We do kind of see it here in this episode with him stashing money and trying to separate himself business wise as far as Rock is concerned, but I really want to see that. So if it's him stomping the streets trying to figure out what happened to Famous and get revenge, and maybe rolling up on Freddy's people and having something there, and it's like, well, hell, it wasn't Freddy's people and it was my uncle. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do to my uncle? What is this? Like, if it could be that, I'm here for that. But like, I just need a shift in the family, a shift in the dynamic, and I need Juke to catch another body. Okay, I need those things to happen. But y'all, that was the episode. Yeah, that was a whole lot. It was a whole lot. I can't wait to see what happens, because we set the price of fame. All right, if we get to know who did it even sooner than we thought we would, that'll definitely be even better. I am going to show you guys some love. We got up to about 150 people tonight, which is, which always good, always fun. Before y'all try to dip out, leaving comments and, hit that like button while I give y'all this little break, and we're going to come right back and let you guys know what we got coming up.
I want to see you cry. Got some questions that I got to ask, and I hope you can come up with the answers, baby. Girl, it's easy to love me now. Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me, girl? It's easy to love me now. Would you love me if I was down and out? but you still have love for me. If I fell off tomorrow, would you still love me? If I didn't smell so good, would you still hug me? If I got locked up and sentenced to a quarter century, could I count on you to be there to support me mentally? If I went back to a hoopty for my bands, would you poof and disappear like some of my friends? If I was hit and I was hurt, would you be by my side? If it was time to put in work, would you be down to ride? I doubt, kill a nigga, cat, chill and drive. I'm asking questions to find out how you feel inside. If I ain't back, I flip burgers at Burger King. Would you be ashamed to tell your friends you're feeling me? In the bed, if I use my tongue, would you like that? If I wrote you a love letter, would you write back? If we could have a little drink, you know, a nightcap. We can go do what you like, I know you like that. Like, girl, it's easy to love me now.
All right. Ashley, I'm coming to you first. Let the people know what we got coming up.
Tomorrow, you guys, we have, what is it? Always crazy, always been crazy.
Crazy all along.
Crazy all along. Movie marathon tomorrow starts at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be there or be square. And this week is going to be stacked, y'all. So please make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure you have that notification bell hit so you don't miss a thing. And we appreciate y'all being here and supporting us tonight to talk Raising Kanan.
Absolutely. Made me spell it wrong. I put Dane, please, in the chat. Because please, Dane, not right now. Rudy, what about you? What do you have coming up on your channel?
Guys, the channel is youtube.com/RudyPMagic. We got the episode 5 review on my channel. I've been doing eulogies for every fallen character for a lot of these popular shows, and Famous will be, different. So I'm cooking up the eulogy for Famous. That'll be on the channel coming up this week, along with some other things. youtube.com/RudyPMagic. Make sure you hit the notification and the bell. Please hit the like button. All my Patreon people will receive all that RudyPMagic. Yeah, man, and I appreciate you all for having me on, ladies. It's always a pleasure. I appreciate this. And thank you all in the comments. I don't want y'all to think I don't see it. Y'all be having me laughing. I'll be trying to focus on but thank you all for all your commentary, man. It's truly it's truly a delight.
Thank you. No, DeMarcus, I did not. Let me scroll up. Maybe I did. I missed it. Thank you, DeMarcus, who said, which death was worse, Raina, Nicole, or Famous? It's going to always be Raina, because how dare you just sit there and let that happen? I don't like Tariq to this day for just sitting there breathing, doing nothing. What about y'all?
Yeah, I had answered in the comment earlier. It was definitely Raina for me as well. That was heartbreaking. Yeah. She ain't deserve that. She was an innocent, a complete innocent.
I agree with the Raina piece, because I'll never forget how I felt when I saw that. And I know some people, thankfully, I wasn't in the number that said they had that spoiled for them. Some people, they spoiled that for, but when I saw that bullet hit that baby, I was like, oh my God. But I always hated Tariq, not just for the action, but I never felt like he took accountability for that. He tried to put it on his father, like, oh, it's Ghost. And then Courtney Kemp and the writers brass, it's like they tried to put it on like, oh, this is part of Ghost sins. And to a degree it was, but Tariq directly got his sister hit. So I'm like, the fact that they deflected from him to Ghost always blew me. I never liked that.
Oh, made me sick. Made me so sick. Thank you so much, DeMarcus, for that. Anybody who is a member, be sure to meet us in a bit to watch Pretty Woman tonight, and we will see y'all next time. I'm going to leave you guys with the marathon binge for tomorrow that Ashley mentioned with our crazy all along. We're going to get into some crazy. Not only just regular crazy, white crazy. So it's going to be a good time. We will definitely see you guys tomorrow. Good night, y'all.